Listen to me. No more excuses. You've had enough time to complain. You've had enough time to blame your environment, your past, your lack of resources. Now it's time to execute. You don't need another motivational video. You don't need another pep talk. You need to act. You need to get up right now and do the work. You said you wanted success. You said you wanted it to change your life. Then why are you still explaining yourself every time you fall short? Every second you spend justifying failure is a second you could have spent building your future. Winners execute, period. They don't wait for perfect timing. They don't need permission. They don't give excuses. They give results. You've been given the same 24 hours as everyone else. What you do with them is on you. You either find a way to win, an excuse to quit. It's your choice. Execute. Don't excuse. Excuses kill progress. It's that simple. Every time you let an excuse out of your mouth, every time you let it take root in your mind, you're putting your dreams on hold. Excuses are subtle. They sound reasonable. They sound logical. They even sound like protection. But in reality, they're a form of surrender. And when you surrender to excuses, you give up the opportunity to grow, to win, to become everything you were meant to be. Excuses are the language of those who fear discomfort. They protect your ego, but they destroy your potential. Every time you say, I'm tired, I don't have time, I didn't grow up with support, I don't have the resources, you're not stating facts. You're rehearsing limitation. You're reinforcing boundaries that you were supposed to break through. The truth is, no one really cares about your excuse. The world measures results. It doesn't grade your effort. It doesn't reward your intention. It responds to action and consistency. You can have the greatest heart, the deepest pain, the most powerful reasons, but if you don't show up, execute, and produce, you'll still fall short. It's not fair, but it's real. And the sooner you accept that, the faster you'll grow. Progress doesn't come from what you say you're going to do. It comes from what you actually do day after day, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, even when life hits you from every direction. Excuses make you feel better in the moment, but they steal your future. They wrap you in comfort, but they chain you to stagnation. Every excuse you make is a trade. You're trading effort for ease, growth for comfort, and possibility for limitation. You weren't born to make excuses. You were born to conquer challenges. But somewhere along the line, you got used to explaining failure instead of attacking it. Maybe you got let down. Maybe you failed once, twice, 5 times, and you started to protect yourself with excuses. But here's the truth. You can't protect yourself and elevate yourself at the same time. You have to choose. If you're always guarding your pride, you'll never step into purpose. Excuses may protect your feelings, but they cost you your future. And I promise you, years from now, the pain of not becoming who you could have been will hurt way more than the pain of discipline today. When you eliminate excuses, something powerful happens. You reclaim control. You stop waiting on motivation. You stop blaming your circumstances. You stop pointing fingers. And instead, you start building. You start showing up earlier, working harder, staying later. You don't need ideal conditions. You just need commitment. It's not about how you feel. It's about what you've decided. Because when you've truly decided, feelings don't matter. You don't need to feel ready. You need to be relentless. You need to lock in, get up when you fall, and keep grinding even when no one claps. No one watches, and no one believes. Excuses will have you live in the same year over and over again, calling it and trying. Execution will have you climbing, evolving, and eventually arriving. Look around. Every success story you admire is a product of execution, not excuses. People came from broken homes, poverty, trauma, disadvantage, and still made it. Not because they had more luck or more talent, but because they refused to let excuses write their story. When it was dark, they showed up. When it was hard, they showed up. When it was hard, they showed up. When they were broke, hurt, and tired, they showed up because they knew something. If you don't kill your excuses, we'll kill your dream. There is no middle ground. You can't carry both. If you want to be great, if you want to build something meaningful, if you want to stand at the top of your potential, you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to look your excuses in the face and say, you're done. You're no longer welcome here. Progress doesn't respond to pity. It responds to power. And power comes from ownership, from doing what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not, from waking up early when you rather sleep, from staying focused when distraction calls, from executing the plan even when everything in you says quit. There is no magic. There's just the grind, and that grind doesn't accept excuses. It demands effort. It demands hunger. It demands you to show up when you're not appreciated, not celebrated, and not recognized. Because real work isn't glamorous, it's gritty, but it's worth it. You can't rise while dragging excuses. Cut them loose. Replace them with standard. Replace them with effort. Replace them with action. Excuses are loud in the beginning, but quiet in the face of execution. The moment you stop giving them a voice, they lose their power. The moment you say, I'm done explaining why I did, and I'm ready to show how I will, everything changes. You don't need a better plan. You don't need better luck. Action is always greater than explanation. You can talk all day about what you want, what you're trying to do, what you almost did, and what went wrong. But until you put in the work and show results, none of that talk matters. Life doesn't reward good intention. It rewards consistent action. You can have the best reasons, the most painful past, the most passionate dreams. But if you don't get up and move, if you don't follow through, if you don't turn your words into work, nothing's going to change. Nobody cares about why you didn't. They care about whether you did. We live in a world full of talkers, people who can explain every failure with smooth words and convincing logic. People who can give you a 5-minute story about why they didn't finish school, why they didn't follow their dreams, why their business didn't work, why they're stuck. Didn't work, why they're stuck. But the truth is, all that explaining is just a smokescreen. It doesn't build anything, doesn't feed your family, it doesn't solve your problems, and it sure doesn't bring you closer to success. You can't talk your way to the top. You climb there with grit, sacrifice, and action. You build your future with effort, not explanations. Let me ask you something. Do you want to be understood, or do you want to be successful? Because too many people are stuck trying to get people to understand their struggle instead of putting all that energy into doing something about it. Yes, your story matters. Yes, your pain is real. But if you keep focusing on telling people why you're not where you want to be, instead of doing what it takes to get there, you'll be stuck forever. Your story can inspire people, but only if it ends in triumph, not excuses. The world needs your example, not your explanation. When you're serious about growth, you stop explaining and start executing. You don't have time to convince people why you're not moving, because you're too busy moving. You don't defend your delays. You own them. You own them. You don't justify the lack of results. You change your approach and go harder. Execution is how you rewrite your life. It's how you shift the narrative. And guess what? When you start getting results, people stop asking questions. They stop doubting. They stop criticizing. Because results speak louder than any explanation ever could. Let me tell you something real. Success doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being consistent. You're going to mess up. You're going to mess up. You're going to fall short sometime. But the difference between people who make it and people who don't isn't that one group never failed. It's that one group got back up and kept moving. They didn't spend a month explaining why they slipped. They got back on their feet and kept going. Action corrects mistakes. Action creates momentum. When you're in motion, you can pivot, you can learn, you can grow. But when you're sitting still, defending your inactivity, you're not learning. You're stuck. And no one gets stronger standing still. There's a trap people fall into when they get used to explaining instead of executing. They become professional excuse makers. They become really good at talking about what happened, how hard it is, why it's not their fault. And that might get sympathy. It might even get understanding, but it will never get results. You have to decide, do you want sympathy or do you want success? Because most of the time, you can't have both. Success demands a different level of focus, a different level of commitment. It doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It doesn't make space for overthinking. It just demands that you show up over and over until something breaks, until something clicks, until the vision becomes real. There are people out there right now with half your talent and twice your hustle winning, not because they're better than you, not because they're luckier than you, But because they stopped talking and started doing, they don't sit around explaining their limitation. They work around them. They don't complain about their disadvantages. They build anyway. Every day they choose to execute, and little by little, step by step, they create separation. They move ahead. They get results, because that's what execution does. It stacks up. It compounds. It turns days into progress and effort into elevation. It's easy to talk. It's easy to explain. It's easy to say, I would add, or I was going to, but easy never built anything great. Easy never created freedom. Easy never changed lives. If you want to win, you have to do the hard stuff. You have to act when it's uncomfortable. You have to move when you're uncertain. You have to get up and grind, even when no one is watching, even when nothing seems to be working, even when you're tired of trying. That's how you break through, not by explaining your pain, by pushing through it. No. So the next time you're tempted to explain why you didn't follow through, stop yourself. Catch it. You own your time. This simple truth is the foundation of everything you can achieve. No one controls your time except for you. The 24 hours in a day are your canvas, and how you choose to paint that day will determine the masterpiece that is your life. There is no one who has more time than you. There is no one who can manage your time for you. There is no one who can use your time more effectively than you can. You have total control over how your day is shaped. But too many people are unaware of the power they hold in that control. Instead, they allow external factors to dictate how their time is spent. They let distractions take hold. They let other people's needs, desires, and demands hijack their schedule. As a result, they waste precious moments that they can never get back. The clock is ticking, and the more you let it slip away, the more you let it decide for you, the further you get from the person you want to be. The truth is, everyone has the same 24 hours. Billionaires, athletes, entrepreneurs, students, teachers, we all get the same amount of time. The difference is how we choose to use it. The difference is the choices we make on how to spend it. Time waits for no one. It doesn't care about your excuses, your struggles, or your desires. It keeps moving forward whether you take action or not. And if you're not intentional with how you spend your time, you'll find that it slips away from you, leaving you wondering where it all went. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you're too busy. It's easy to feel like there just isn't enough time. We've all been there, feeling overwhelmed by responsibilities, deadlines, and the constant pressure of life. But here's the hard truth. Time is a matter of priority, not availability. If you make something a priority, you'll find the time to get it done. The people who are successful in life, in their careers, in their health, and in their relationships are the ones who understand that time is a precious resource. They know that they can't afford to waste it, and so they spend it wisely. They carve out time for the things that matter most, even when they're busy. They recognize that their success is directly tied to how they manage their time. It's not about working 24/7, it's about working intentionally. It's about using every minute wisely. Some people think they need to be busy all the time to be successful, but busyness doesn't equal productivity. You can be busy and still accomplish nothing. Being productive with your time is what matters. It's about setting clear goals, making decisions on what truly moves you forward, and aligning your actions with those goals. Successful people don't just react to what's happening around them. They make deliberate choices about how they spend their time. They focus on what's important and don't let trivial distractions eat away at their valuable hours. You have the same 24 hours as everyone else, but how you use them makes all the difference. It's easy to get caught up in the distractions of social media, TV, and mindless scrolling. It's easy to let time slip away while you're not paying attention. And before you know it, hours, days, even weeks can go by without any progress. But when you take ownership of your time, when you're intentional about how you spend it, you'll begin to see the impact of those choices. Every moment spent wisely is an investment in your future. One of the most powerful things you can do is to start your day with a plan. You can't just wake up and hope that things will fall into place. If you don't decide how your day is going, to someone else will decide it for you. You'll get caught up in the chaos, the demands, the distractions, and before you know it, the day is over and you've accomplished nothing. But when you plan your day with intention, When you set your priorities straight, you can take control of your time. It doesn't matter if you have a busy schedule. What matters is how you allocate your time and focus on what's important. This doesn't mean you won't face challenges. It doesn't mean you won't have setbacks. But when you own your time, you have the power to push through those challenges. You have the power to adapt, to adjust, to keep moving forward. The key is not to let obstacles dictate how you spend your time. Your time is yours to manage, and it's up to you to decide how you use it, even when life gets tough. When you take control of your time, you take control of your time, you take control of your life. What happens when you refuse to allow time to slip through your fingers? When you commit to owning your time, you get more than just a sense of control. You get results. You get progress. You get growth. You begin to see your goals move from the realm of dreams into the realm of reality. You make small choices every day that add up to big achievements over time. Your time isn't just a series of hours that pass by. It's an opportunity to shape your life. Discipline is the difference. It's not about talent, luck, or opportunity. It's about discipline. You see, discipline is the bridge between your goals and your achievements. It's the daily commitment to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. The truth is, most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. Discipline helps you get over the short-term discomfort and keep pushing forward day after day, even when progress feels slow or invisible. Talent is fleeting, motivation is temporary, but discipline is steady. It's what keeps you consistent when the excitement fades, when the novelty wears off, and when life throws challenges your way. Think about it. There are countless people who start with passion and excitement, but very few maintain that momentum. Why? Because motivation can't be relied on. It's inconsistent. It comes and goes with your mood, your energy, and your circumstances. But discipline doesn't depend on how you feel. It depends on your commitment. It's the habit of doing what you say you do, regardless of feelings or situation. The people who succeed are not necessarily the most gifted or talented. They are the ones who have developed discipline as their foundation. They don't wait for motivation. They create it through their actions. They understand that success is built one small disciplined step at a time. Discipline is what turns dreams into reality. Without it, your goals remain wishes and ideas floating in your head. It is discipline that forces you to wake up early to work on your craft, to say no to distractions, to push through fatigue and doubt. It's discipline that makes you practice when you rather relax, that drives you to keep going. The easy option is to quit. Discipline demands sacrifice. It means giving up short-term pleasures for long-term success. This can be tough because human nature seeks comfort and ease. But discipline is the muscle you build by consistently choosing the hard but right path. Every great achiever you admire is disciplined. They don't necessarily have more time than you or better conditions, but they have the willingness to be consistent. Think about the athlete who trains every day, even when sore or tired. Think about the entrepreneur who puts in long hours when no one is watching, learning, adapting, and improving. Think about the artist who practices their skills relentlessly, honing their craft. What sets them apart is discipline, the unwavering commitment to the process, the daily grind, and the work that others avoid. Discipline also builds resilience. It trains you to keep going when obstacles come your way. Life is unpredictable, and there will always be setbacks. You may face rejection, failure, criticism, or fatigue, but discipline keeps you on track. It helps you rise from every fall and continue forward. It's the quiet strength that makes you persistent even when results are slow. When you cultivate discipline, you build mental toughness, the ability to withstand discomfort and keep your eyes on the prize. It's what allows you to maintain focus despite distractions and stay dedicated to your goals, no matter the circumstances. Another important aspect of discipline is that it creates structure. Without discipline, your day can be chaotic and unproductive. You may find yourself procrastinating, wasting time, or drifting aimlessly. But with discipline, you build routines and habits that set you up for success. Routines eliminate the need to constantly make decisions about what to do next. They create automatic behaviors that push you toward your goal. When you have discipline, you don't have to rely on willpower alone. Your habits take over and keep you moving forward. This consistency compounds over time, producing results that would have been impossible with sporadic effort. Discipline also keeps you accountable. When you commit to discipline, you hold yourself responsible for your actions and outcomes. You stop blaming others or circumstances for where you are. You take ownership of your progress and setbacks. Accountability is powerful because it shifts the mindset from victimhood to ownership. It empowers you to control your destiny through your daily actions. When you are disciplined, you're constantly evaluating your choices and making adjustments to stay aligned with your goals. This self-awareness and responsibility accelerate your growth and increase your chances of success. It's important to recognize that discipline is not about perfection. It's about progress. You won't always be perfect, and you'll have days when you falter or slip up. But discipline is about getting back up and continuing despite setbacks. It's about showing up consistently, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel motivated, even when you're tired or discouraged. Discipline is the willingness to keep going when most people quit. Sacrifice is the unseen price of success. It's the quiet decision to give up comfort, leisure, and sometimes even relationships, all for the sake of a bigger goal. Most people dream about success, but few are willing to pay the cost that comes with it. Sacrifice means that you're willing to put in the hard work, the late nights, the early mornings, and the moments when everyone else is relaxing, but you're grinding. It's the willingness to delay gratification, to say no to immediate pleasure for long-term gain. This willingness is what separates those who achieve from those who only wish. Without sacrifice, dreams stay dreams. They never move into the realm of reality. When you choose sacrifice, you choose to prioritize your future over your present comfort. It means that you understand the path to greatness is rarely easy. There will be times when you feel like quitting because the sacrifice feels too heavy. You might miss out on social events, fun nights out, or relaxing weekends. You might have to work when others are playing or study when others are sleeping. But those moments of sacrifice compound over time. They build character, discipline, and momentum. They create an edge that sets you apart from everyone else who chose comfort instead. Sacrifice also demands focus. When you are sacrificing, you must be clear about your goals and why they matter. Without a strong purpose, sacrifice can feel pointless and exhausting. But with a clear vision, sacrifice becomes a meaningful act. It's a daily reminder that what you're giving up now is worth the future you're building. This clarity keeps you motivated when the going gets tough. It's the fuel that drives you through the hard time. Without it, sacrifice can quickly turn into regret or burnout. But with it, sacrifice becomes the bridge to success. The thing about sacrifice is that it's not always easy to see. People might not notice the hours you spend working when they see you out in public. They might not understand why you're turning down invitations or skipping events. Sometimes sacrifice means being misunderstood or even criticized. You might face pressure from friends or family who don't share your vision or who think you're working too hard. But true sacrifice often happens in silence. It's a private battle fought when no one else is watching. It's the invisible work that eventually leads to visible results. Another important part of sacrifice is patience. Sacrifice rarely pays off immediately. It takes time to see the fruits of your labor. There will be moments when you question if it's worth it. You might wonder if all the sacrifice is in vain. But those who succeed understand that sacrifice is a long-term investment. It's planting seeds that will one day grow into a strong, fruitful tree. Patience combined with sacrifice is a powerful combination. It helps you stay the course, even when progress seems slow or invisible. It reminds you that great things take time and consistent effort. Sacrifice is also a test of your commitment. It reveals how badly you want your goal. When you're truly committed, sacrifice doesn't feel like a burden. It feels like a necessary step. It's proof that you are serious about your dreams. Sacrifice forces you to make choices, forces you to weigh your priorities and decide what matters most. Are you willing to give up what you want now for what you want most? Are you ready to endure discomfort today to create a better tomorrow? These questions separate the dreamers from the doers. It's important to understand that sacrifice doesn't mean giving up everything. It means making conscious choices. It means balancing your life in a way that supports your goals without completely sacrificing your well-being. True sacrifice is not self-destruction. It's strategic. It's intentional. It's knowing when to say no and when to say yes. It's about managing your energy and resources wisely. It's about making trade-offs that align with your vision and values. When done correctly, sacrifice builds strength, resilience, and clarity. Sacrifice also teaches you humility. When you sacrifice, you realize that success isn't handed you. It has to be earned. It forces you to appreciate the journey, the struggles, and the growth that come with working toward your goals. It humbles you and makes you grateful for every small win. It also keeps you grounded and focused on what truly matters. When you sacrifice, you're less likely to take success for granted because you know the price you paid. Think about the people who have achieved greatness: athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. Behind every success story is a history of sacrifice. They gave up comfort, leisure, and sometimes even relationships to pursue their dreams. They faced challenges that would have stopped most people, but they chose to keep going. Their sacrifice was not just about working hard, it was about being willing to do what others wouldn't.